My name is William Bradford Burch. My mother's maiden name was Bradford. My seventh forefather was Governor Bradford that came over with the Pilgrims, and had a pretty good bloodline. So William Bradford Burch is my name. My dad was William Hilton Burch, of English ancestry, and we go through that, and there was George Burches in that line. There's a town in England where almost all the residents are Burches. Genealogists have a field day there. My dad was a dirt farmer that moved into the sheep business, became very, very wise in the care of animals, the proper breeding and care for animals. And he was sought out by many to counsel with on illnesses and ailments among horses, cows, pigs, sheep, dogs. And had an 8th grade education. But could teach college-educated vets a thing or two about the care of animals. My mother was Estella Pearl Bradford. Grew up, and she used to tell the stories about when they wired the house with electricity. And you didn't have to clean that old chimney and the coil lamp any longer. You didn't have to get a match to light the light. You could just throw a switch and the room was lit. And it was just a cord hanging out of the ceiling with a light bulb on it. And then they talked of bringing plumbing into the house, and she didn't quite understand what plumbing was. And her mother says, you know the outhouse out there? We're going to bring that facility in the house. Mom, you're not going to bring that stinking thing in the house. And they plumbed their house. So they had a bathroom in it. And running water. You didn't have to go to the well and pump the water. You could turn a tap and have water right there in the kitchen. We've seen a generation move from dirt poor to a society where we sit and converse with each other around the world. We can talk to friends and family wherever they are. We can send pictures and see them. We can hear radio broadcasts and TV broadcasts from around the world. I remember as a youngster, when the chores were all done and we'd had supper and the dishes were done up, and we'd all gather in the front room of the home, and Dad would sit down in front of a little Atwater Kent radio and take the car battery and leads from the car battery and hook it onto the radio, and we could turn in the radio and we could hear KOA Denver or KSL Salt Lake, and we're sitting down here in a cow pasture and hearing these broadcasts. And they kind of squeak once in a while and fade in and out. But we could listen to Amos and Andy or Merton Marge. And these were radio shows that would be on. It would only take about an hour until the car battery was dead. And then it was all over. But for an hour in the evening, we could tune in the rest of the world and hear what was going on. And I wasn't much older than that when Lindbergh flew the Atlantic Ocean. And boy, the headlines in the paper and on the radio, everybody was talking. A man had just flown the Atlantic Ocean, all alone. Great hero. I've represented him there in that pilot. Great strides have been done in my lifetime. You have no idea what advancements are going to come in your lifetime, the things you will see. My dad had what was billed as the finest automobile ever built, and it couldn't go up a hill without stopping and filling a radiator with water 2 or 3 times because it would all boil out as that engine was cranking hard enough to get us over a hill. The road, Provo to Salt Lake, largely a dirt road. Out around the point of the mountain was all dirt for many, many years after. Great advances are coming in all fields, and you can be a part of that. And you will be so much ahead if you are educated and trained in some field that is looking forward. This is your opportunity to get a little feel of what you can do with your hands if you're mechanically inclined. Now, if not, turn on your brain. I once had an old guy look at me doing this, and he says, well, if you don't know anything, you better be able to do something. And I'm in that category. But I found out that with all my kids, it's much better to know something than to do something. Now, you got to act at the same time if you know something. But what he meant is you don't have to use your hands to earn your living. You use your mind. And there's greater things to be discovered and worked on. My mother boiled it down to one word, 2 words, I guess. Behave yourself. Be good. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Now behave yourself. Don't have me scolding you anymore. I am amazed at what must have taken place in the spirit world before we were born. To see 2 brothers side by side come into this world and have such opposing mindsets. And it happens. We must have had some grand experiences prior to coming here. We're told that we chose our parents, our heritage, our bloodlines. Oh, I made a great choice. I hope my boys and my one daughter can feel that way when they're ready to check out and finish their role here on earth. They can look back and realize they are of a royal generation. We can show the way, we can counsel, we can talk, but they have their free agency, and they will do what they choose to do. We can pray for them and seek well-being, but the final act is in their hands, as it has been in ours, and will be in the generations to come. I have often heard that the greatest waste in this world today is what we might have been as opposed to what we are. What we might have done as opposed to what we have done. The greatest waste is that difference. And that makes you sit back and wonder, how well have I done? How well could I have done? Have I done what was expected of me? My prayers often now are, Father, I want to experience in this mortal body everything Thou hast for me to experience. If it's pain and suffering, I want it to come. I want to have all the experience that thou hast for me. If it's tenderness and love, great. I just want to share the whole thing and hold fast to the end. That's a Navy term. Stay faithful to the end. And that's my desire now. I look forward to departure, and yet it can't happen for a while because I've got so much more committed to. But I'm ready for it when it comes. And my life has been preserved way beyond doctor's anticipation of what I should have. And the healing hand of the Lord has provided that over and over in the last few years of my life. And now I sit back and enjoy it. And thank you for this opportunity.